He referred to the document as a movement more than a plan, dubbing it the quote-unquote Michigan Manifesto. I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. This doesn't seem real. It sounds like Connor Stalions here is trying to be an evil villain in a movie. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is where things really, and I mean really start to get fascinating, so you need to pay attention to every single part because Connor Stalions in Michigan, they're starting to get exposed. This situation involving the Michigan football program, it feels like an onion and we're just peeling back all the layers. And the more we peel this thing back, the more information we're finding out. I ain't gonna lie to y'all, the last time we talked about the situation, which was 2 days ago, I thought that was gonna be the end all be all and I already thought it was crazy. But now, fast forward time to today, yesterday some crazy news came out and there's just more information slowly starting to come out as well. We gotta take a look at something that is interesting to say the least, and it looks like Mr. Connor Stalions here, the man who's behind all of this, he's a psychopath. I throw that phrase out there lightly. I don't even know if I've ever called someone a psychopath in the history of my channel before. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of what we're about to get into. This man, Connor Stalions, wrote a 550 to 600 page quote-unquote Michigan Manifesto master plan to take over the Michigan football program. And let me throw this out there right now. When I heard that he was calling his master plan the manifesto, I knew he was going to be in for a treat. I'm sorry, the Michigan Manifesto. You can't make this crap up. At this point in time, it doesn't even feel like this is real. It almost feels like something you'd see on TV. And I gotta show you this as well. He was also being called the quote-unquote SeatGeek Sniper for purchasing tickets to over 30 Michigan opponents' games. So his nickname is the SeatGeek Sniper, and on top of that, he wrote a 600-page Michigan Manifesto plan. You can't make this crap up, man. You can't make it up. But what I find really interesting, and we're going to get to all this in just a second, is reportedly Connor Stalions was bragging about his relationships with Michigan coaches. Why do I find that funny? Why is that a big detail? Because remember, this is a guy that Jim Harbaugh didn't really know too much about. This is a guy that was swept under the rug. This is a guy that didn't have too much association with the Michigan team. He was just a random staffer. But like I said, as we continue to peel this onion back, it looks like all of that was a lie. You might want to buckle up, strap in, and lock in for this video because if you don't pay attention to every single part, number one, you're going to be overwhelmed, and number two, you're going to get lost. Just doing my research on all of this, it got overwhelming to me because there's so many small details. I say this with full confidence. This is one of the strangest situations I've ever seen in all my years covering this sport. It is extremely wild, and this is much more, and it's way bigger now than Michigan trying to cheat to gain an unfair advantage. Whether you want to call it cheating or whatnot, that's up to you, but number one, they did break the rules, but my point is, it's bigger than that now. We got a lot to talk about in today's video, and I got a lot of new information to show you guys, but real quick, we're on the road to 300,000 subscribers, and we are super close, so if you like college football content and you're not a part of our community already, consider subscribing. It really helps on the channel, and it means a lot. We would love for you to join our community. We're just a bunch of guys and girls that like talking about college football, but alright, Matt, blah, blah, shut the crap up. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, I don't got time to waste. You don't got time to waste either. Let's get straight into it. Sports Illustrated, I don't know how they obtained these texts, but they found texts of Stalions boasting about his ability to steal signs and his relationships with Michigan staffers. What about that? And upon review, Stalions talked about this dating back to January and February of 2021. But hold on! That's not all. Stalions claimed he became close with linebackers coach Chris Patridge, hope I'm saying that correctly, and assistant special teams coach Jay Harbaugh. That name should sound familiar because this is the son of head coach Jim Harbaugh. Interesting, because remember, Jim Harbaugh doesn't really know Connor Stalions, at least according to him. Interesting. Let's get a move on. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is where things really, and I mean really start to get fascinating, so you need to pay attention to every single part because Connor Stalions in Michigan, they're starting to get exposed. Stalions, now 28 years old, revealed that he was part of a small group of people, two of whom he said were at low-level positions on different college football coaching staffs, who were putting their heads together on a long-term plan to run the Michigan football program. Yes, that's right, you heard me correctly. Stalions with some other people were a part of a small group that was trying to take over this Michigan, not just team, but the program. And like I said, if all this sounds a little fugazi and just straight up hard to believe, trust me, I'm in the same boat as you. Doesn't seem like this is a real life scenario. This seems like some evil master plan a villain has in a movie. Let's continue along here though. Stalions claimed to have a Google document between 550 and 600 pages long that he managed daily, containing a blueprint for the Wolverines' future. He referred to the document as a movement more than a plan, dubbing it the quote-unquote Michigan Manifesto. I'm sorry, I can't get over that. The Michigan Manifesto. Are you kidding me? I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. This doesn't seem real. It sounds like Connor Stalions here is trying to be an evil villain in a movie. Oh, man. The Michigan Manifesto. I could talk about that all day, but we still got a lot more to get into. Take a look at this. Stalions had a long-term plan with the manifesto, but one text message exchange revealed the short-term plan. Presumably what's been alleged in the terms of sign stealing, among other things. But here's where I start to feel like Connor Stalions here is a straight-up psychopath. Coming out of high school, Connor Stalions, he applied to go to Michigan, and he got in, but he didn't go there. Instead of going to Michigan, yet again, can't emphasize this enough, a school in which he got into, he decided to go to Navy. Why did he do this, you may ask? And this is where it starts to get psychotic, at least to me. Every coach he looked up to growing up, they had a military background, and he believed having that background would help him in his manifesto plan, I guess you shall say. I said shall say, my bad, shall say. There we go, you get the point. I know that may be a little hard to understand, let me dumb it down. Connor Stalions chose to serve in the U.S. Marines because he thought it would give him a competitive edge and just an edge in general to be a head coach one day at Michigan. Yep, that's pretty insane, at least to me. Maybe you feel differently. And let me make this clear, although I think it's insane, I respect the man tremendously. He had a vision and a plan, and he stuck with it. The sheer dedication just to go to the U.S. Marines because you think it's going to help you out coaching-wise 20 years from now, unreal. To go on top of all of this, check this out, quote unquote. While at the Naval Academy, a source close to the football program described Stalions as obsessed with Michigan to an excessive degree. It was not uncommon for Stalions, even as a Navy student assistant, to attend Michigan games while the midshipmen weren't playing at home in Indianapolis. It goes back to this point. The only reason he went to a Naval Academy is because he thought it'd help him in his manifesto plan. This man, Connor Stalions, has been obsessed with Michigan football from the jump, and I respect it. But whoa, hold on. Everything I've just presented to you, if that wasn't crazy enough, take a listen to this. The Washington Post posted this quote-unquote bombshell breaking news yesterday. The Washington Post stated that an independent third-party law firm source, they are the ones who alerted the NCAA and was like, hey, you might want to take a look into this. This is where things really get complicated, and I want to try to dumb this down. Pretty much, somehow, some way, an independent law firm had access to Michigan's computers. And on these computers, this is where this law firm, they found the photos and video evidence of Michigan going to these games and scouting all these teams and blah, 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 blah. That was the start to this domino effect to where we are now. And you can read this if you want, but I'm trying to dumb it down to you right here. This same law firm, they found videos of these Michigan scouts videoing other teams. That is the newest and new information, but here's my biggest question about all of this. I have multiple questions. Number one, why was this random third-party law firm, independent law firm, whatever you want to call them, looking into Michigan football? Number two, isn't that illegal for them to hack into Michigan's computers? I mean, come on now, these are valid questions. Who authorized this? There's no way anybody a part of Michigan was like, oh yeah, you can look into all these files. No way. I do need to throw in there though and remind you guys, this is not a legal matter, although it is illegal to hack into somebody's computer. That's a different conversation for a different day. This is a matter of the NCAA. If they want to come out and make their own rules and do this and do that, they can do so. They can come out tonight if they want to and say Michigan is suspended for the rest of the season. They can do what they want. So I did want to clarify on that if there was somewhat of a miscommunication. But my biggest question is question number one. Why was this law firm even looking into them in the first place? Maybe it was an accident, who knows, but hard to believe it's an accident. There's a lot of weird stuff going around, man, a lot of weird stuff. And think about this. This is just what they found so far. You gotta get the sense and belief that maybe there's way more to the story than what we actually know. Who knows, man? Who knows? I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But